What's the haps? I'm Meroka, and today I'm going to be taking a quick look at Dandy, or a brief glimpse into the life of the Candy Alchemist. This is a side-scrolling shooter that I have taken a look at before, actually. I took a look at this back when we were around the crowdfunding stage back in September, and I am told it is now complete. I've been sent this, and it is allegedly the finished product has been expanded, improved, elaborated upon, and it's ready to be looked at with a critical eye. So I'm going to go and do that. So, even though it is finished, apparently I don't think you can buy it yet, which seems to be a strange way of doing things. I guess they're waiting to go through Steam Greenlight, so once they're through Greenlight, it is finished, so it will immediately become available to purchase as soon as it has received enough votes. So if you wish to see it, go vote for it. I'll put a link in the description. However, until then, they don't seem to be pursuing any other alternate distribution methods that I can make out. It's not like they've gone via Humble or something, which is where most other devs would probably be looking, I'd have thought, which is kind of a strange avenue to take, but whatever. Before I also get in, I will also mention that I've been put in kind of a weird position that I'm not sure how I feel about this, but I still want to take a look at the game. The devs were like really nice about me on Twitter the other day, and well, I appreciate that, but it kind of puts me in an awkward position insofar as I feel like that kind of introduces an element of bias into my taking a look at their game. I try to evaluate stuff with as neutral and an objective an eye as possible. Obviously, you know, it's still critique, so it's all somewhat subjective, but nonetheless, I try to be as objective as possible. So suddenly when I know the devs are like, oh yeah, we like this guy, suddenly I would feel bad being nasty about it. So you can see where a bias would come into this, so just bear that one in mind while I'm critiquing it, you know? Anyway, let's take a look at the options menu. Not that much has changed. We have mouse, controller, or keyboard input. Keyboard sounds really bad for this. I've not tried it, but it doesn't sound like an ideal method. Controller would probably work. Mouse, you can play it entirely with just the mouse, and it's perfectly serviceable. I've been playing it with the mouse, it's perfectly fine. Video settings, you have resolution, full screen, and there's a low quality mode if you're having performance issues. I don't think it really needs much more than that. There's a pretty reasonable graphics options for the game. So let's head on in. Let's take a look at it. Let's jump on into the game. The audio options are actually in the game here. If I bring up the pause menu, your audio options are actually down here for some reason. I don't know why that isn't in the main menu. That seems like that should be in the main menu, but it's not. The main options menu. So, side-scrolling shooter, we've seen this before. We are the Candy Alchemist, this chap riding on a lollipop, let's try that, and he can shoot things. He has a candy cane that shoots things. And these are what a lot of the upgrades in the game are going to look like. I don't know what this bit about is at the start of the game is actually about. You've got, I think that's licorice, and then like a lemon and an egg. And I don't think it matters which one you choose, to be in any way fair, to be honest. I haven't been able to discern any kind of visible gameplay difference depending on which one you choose, like, at all. I think it might just, like, generate the seed for the randomization elements and stuff. That's probably about it. So he flies up and down, he flies slowly to the right. You cannot move left or right across the screen, you may only move up and down. If you hold fire for a second, if you ease off on your shots, you fire a more powerful shot, which is more capable of killing an enemy. However, if you fire a lot of shots rapidly, you can fire more bullets, but the bullets become smaller and less powerful. So basically, I think the power of the bullet seems to be intrinsically tied to the size of the shot, quite frankly. Bigger bullets equals more damage, generally speaking. One of my gripes that I took a look at before was I did say it was kind of a strain to keep clicking the button over and over again, and they have implemented an auto-fire. Admittedly, it's a really slow auto-fire compared to what you can actually manage manually. So if I hold that down, that is auto-fire. If I click fast, I can fire much faster than that, and quite often you really kind of need to. So I've got mint. That will give me an extra heart kind of container, so I would have 5 maximum hearts, although I would need to find a way to heal up. As you saw, there was like a white enemy that does heal health that appears very rarely, so I could get that. That would be a good way to heal up. Or there is this, which is what I'm going to take. We've got coffee. Let's take a coffee. So coffee is going to give me an interesting shot, and it's going to make us look really freaky. All the upgrades come with their own cosmetic looks. It's a little bit Binding of Isaac, but that's totally okay. Not necessarily, well, in some cases they are pretty freaky, so in some ways I guess it is Binding of Isaac, but just kind of adding an actual visual cosmetic effects to all the upgrades is kind of cool. So as we get into this kind of second section of the game, we're going to get some strategy involved in things. The first section of the game is just mostly mowing things down that are just going to kind of fly your way. Here we've got a few different types of enemies. Got those ones that'll sort of inflate as you shoot them. If you don't shoot them to bursting point, the blue, let's get rid of the blue one. If you don't shoot them to bursting point, they will shoot the shots back at you. So if I just keep sustained fire, it will pop and burst. We've got these little green guys behind it. If I stand still for a second, yeah, these guys only fire while I'm not moving. So and this is kind of a nasty combination against these ones, actually. There's a lot of really nasty, tricky combinations of enemies that you need to figure out. So it's it's very tactical, and it does require a bit of thought into figuring these ones out. So if I stop to start shooting at the guy in front, if I start shooting at the guy in the front, the other one behind it is going to start shooting, and then that thing's going to fill up, and you can block enemy shots. If I shoot them, I can block the shots. So if I were to start doing that, I can destroy some of those shots, but then the other one's going to fill up and it's going to shoot the shots back, and it's going to become a nightmare. So you kind of need to take this one out whilst also moving like a little bit just to stop it. Yeah, it requires a bit of thought to figure some of these ones out. It's like, how do these work? And it's always necessarily immediately obvious exactly what the mechanics are for things as well. So some enemies react whilst you're not doing anything, some enemies only react whilst you're doing things. Others don't react at all, like that just kind of follows a pattern. That one's going to give me a nice bit of boost of health. Not that I need it. I'm okay for health here. These ones just have a shield. If I shoot the shield, it reflects that. That can do damage to me, so don't want to hit that. There's a variety of enemies, and they all come in different formations. And some of them, as I say, are going to be some pretty nasty combinations, to be honest. So I want to try and take this out. Let's do some charge shots. And there's a little progress meter at the bottom that shows how far through the level we've got. When we reach that little face at the end of the bar, that's when we get our next upgrade. Our next little roguelike-y kind of upgrade. So there's potentially... Ow, goddammit. There is the potential for some interesting combinations, a lot of interesting stuff. As I was saying, it's kind of got the issue that many roguelikes do seem to have, which is it doesn't like telling you what everything does. There's a lot of games that are just like, here's an upgrade, what does it do? We're not telling you. And this one does that as well. It totally does that. Okay, this is oh god, this is a nasty combination. This is definitely a nasty combination. I don't know how to get that. The wiggle shots are kind of a way of doing that. I suppose I need to keep... See, I could get myself killed because this was actually a pretty nasty section. So I need to keep moving so the green guy doesn't shoot, but I can only shoot that when the wheel lines up. So that was pretty rough. At each upgrade station, there is usually an upgrade that allows you to refill your health, but obviously you are completely foregoing any upgrades at all. Which means something I might have to do here. These yellow ones, they only fire whilst you're firing, so if you stop firing, they'll just kind of go to sleep and go away. But you need to fire to clear out all the enemies. Oh, is that good? That's not going to get me. That's okay. So, you're forced to make some tactical decisions there. It is really nasty. I'm finding it really, really difficult to make much progress through the game, and I think that is perhaps what I like least about it. Okay, so I've got one that only fires when I'm not moving, and one that only fires when I'm firing. Well, I've got three that only fire when I'm not moving, and one that only fires when I'm firing it. So I'll take the yellow one out first, and the other one should be easier, I imagine. I guess is how you treat that one. Yeah. Rid of that first. And then we've got a little octopus thing in a spiky ball. I have no idea what these enemies are, but they're all strange. It's a weird and wonderful and adorable game, and horrifyingly, god damn it, nasty. There is kind of an interesting mechanic that when you die, your upgrade, or one of your upgrades, seemingly picked at random pretty much, you don't get any choice in the matter, will drop where you died. So it kind of gives you an incentive to go and do better. So if I get back to where I was, I can reclaim that coffee bean and get the wavy shots. Which means, actually, to be fair, your first run of the game in any given play session is actually a little bit tougher than the rest because you don't have that little extra advantage. So this time I'm gonna burn through this first section pretty quickly. I'll get another upgrade, and hopefully I can use that upgrade to get back to the coffee bean, and then I can use the coffee bean to make even further progress through the level. So that's kind of a nice little dynamic that goes on there. That's kind of cool. I do think just the difficulty of the game may be kind of one of its weakest assets, insofar as you've got roguelike kind of mechanics here. You've got lots of interesting things going on. Honey, I think, gives me extra health, I think, and the peanut gives me a different kind of shot. I'm gonna take the honey just to see what that did, so I'm not sure. Tiny treat for a tiny new you. No, I have no idea what that one does, actually. No, I tell a lie. I tell a lie. I have no idea what honey does, other than cosmetically. That's what I'm saying. Some of the upgrades, it's really vague on stuff. So now I've got an upgrade that I don't know what it does. I can't actively see what it does. It doesn't appear to do anything other than make me very small. I mean, maybe that's it. Is it just the fact that I now have a smaller hitbox? That could be it, actually. That may very well be it. But it's not... Some of the things are not terribly clear. So there's a bit of trial and error in figuring things out. I kind of want to get that, but then there's all these things. Oh god, that's not going to work. That worked out okay. What I have found is that, as I say, clicking the button faster than the auto-fire kind of gives you a bit of an advantage over, you know, not doing that. If I were to just do a sustained fire, that's really difficult to kill these things, actually, whilst doing kind of a sustained fire against that. I suppose if I keep moving, it's probably okay, so that's not too bad. But generally speaking, I've found that if you just click way faster, it's so much better. So much so that actually, rather than do that, what I've found myself doing is I've made a... God, I need to keep moving to avoid these things, don't I? I've made a macro for my mouse, which just lets me click crazy fast. So I don't know. Just in order to make some headway through the game, I found myself playing with this like a lot. So I may continue doing this, but yeah. I don't know. It's not a good way to play the game, but is the most effective way to play the game that I found. So I've now got a mouse macro that just means when I click the mouse button instead, when I hold a modifier key and click the mouse button, I now shoot 4 times for every 1 click that I press. There is still a limit. There's kind of a hard-coded limit into the game that stops you firing any faster than that. You can't break the limits of the game, but it does take a lot of just take a lot of pressure off the game. It allows you to actually make some progress a little bit. Like I say, you kind of got the desert world that is the second area, and I just found it really, really difficult to get to. I mean, way back in the first look I took at it, I could get there just occasionally and not make much progress through it. I still can't get through it, even while, you know, cheating as it is. I'm not going to pretend this isn't really cheating. It kind of is. It entirely is. But at the same time, I can't beat the game. It's really, really difficult. And as a consequence, you never get to see much of the game. There's a variety of different enemies once you get deep into the desert level. In fact, once you get to the desert level, they change up a little bit, actually, entirely. So most of the enemies you see kind of have entirely different variants, and then there's a few new ones appear. So there's a bit to see in the desert area, but okay, now I've got my coffee beans back. So that gives me my waving shot again. It would be nice if I had a nice upgrade that paired with it. If I had like a piercing shot or a split shot, or even like a vampiric shot that went with the... There's a few different kinds of shots that do a lot of cool effects, and I feel like any one of them would have been a good addition rather than just this thing. Okay, so I've got lime, which is poison, and there is chili, which adds like a little kind of familiar that floats around with you and shoots things. I'm going to take the poison, I guess. There's a bunch of stuff. I keep finding new stuff I haven't seen. I feel like I've seen a lot of it, but I still keep stumbling across new things, so there's probably some stuff in there that I still haven't seen yet. So yeah, these... Ow, goddammit. These enemies will take damage over time now once I shoot them. So... Ow. Those little white enemies are... They're kind of like they're like the desert variant on the black enemies that were in the first level. So they sort of swim around happily until you shoot them, then they will fly angrily at you. So they're not... They're pretty okay here. I mean, I should probably just take them out one by one, and let's get rid of this guy. Oh, nope. Can I get... If I can get even one shot on this guy... It's... Oh, but... Okay, I should probably stop using my cheat thing, because the cheat thing is likely to get me shot in the face, because I'm trying to fire 4 shots at once, and that means they're all spraying everywhere. So yeah, even cheating, I need to cheat tactically. It does force you to think a lot, and... I don't know, maybe I'm really bad at the game. That seems very, very, very likely that I'm just really bad at the game. Because, I want to like this game, I love the style, I love the aesthetic, the music's great, the gameplay's nice, but I'm just really frustrated by the fact that I can't play with all the toys. There's a lot of interesting upgrades, and I can't combine them, because I can't get through the game. Occasionally you get a run where I'll pick up like 3 things and I can get some interesting synergy, and it's like, this is great, this is what this game should be, but Those moments are not quite as common as they should be. Maybe, again, a lot of it is tactical. It's learning the patterns of the enemies, so maybe I just need to spend more time learning it. That may very well be what I need to do. It probably is what I need to do. All the enemies are entirely predictable. It's not like any of them do anything really wild and crazy. I have no idea what a... Is that a mango? I guess that's a mango. I don't know what a mango does, but we know honey doesn't do anything particularly useful for me. Oh, it's grape. Masterful mouth-melting grape. Perfection in a confection. What does this do? Again, not clear what that does. Also, I see what that's done. That's given me an extra heart container, which is kind of weird when you consider that there is a heart container upgrade. When there is literally just a heart container, why does the grape give you a heart container? That's really strange. And I also shouldn't have killed that last white thing not so long ago because I needed it to fill that heart container. Damn it! So yeah, it's learning the patterns and strategies of the enemies. These duos of enemies gave me the hardest time for the longest time. And then it's like, oh, if you move, that thing just straight up doesn't shoot at you, and you can just kind of do this, and as long as you keep moving up and down just a little bit, they won't shoot at you. As long as you're moving, like, at all, they won't shoot. And you can deal with them. So it's easy enough. And I imagine that once you've sussed out all the enemies and more than just the enemies, how the enemies relate to each other, I think it'd be easier. But like I say, there's a lot of enemies, a lot of different ways the enemies can interact with each other, and some of them make for really nasty combinations. These guys with the shields, the amount of enemies that have really nasty synergy with those, there's a lot of them. These guys that charge at you, and they sit there, they move really, really fast and then hit you in the face. And quite frankly, get rid of those. Yeah, there we go. There we're back up to 5 hearts. Cool. If those guys are sat behind one of the shielded guys, you've got no way to get at them until you can take out the shielded guy. And because they're charging at your face, you really don't get a lot of time to actually react. You kind of need to take out the shielded guys and then get to the guy behind it. Or spend a while dodging enemies that move really, really fast at you. So that one nearly ended up behind it there, I think. That was looking like that could have ended up nasty. So you kind of need to learn the relationships between the enemies and how they work and how best to counter specific pairings. And then I think you could make some headway, but I'm really struggling to do that well. There's some stuff that I'm like, oh, like these guys. These guys, obviously, they only attack when I'm attacking. That's fair enough. The ones that jump, I'm going to have to kill. You're just going to have to get shot. And then these guys I can take out at my leisure. So if I don't shoot, he's going to go to sleep. And I can shoot him in the face. And then we've got... Those guys aren't too hard to take out. Yeah, there's one that shot when I was shooting, and the others just, as long as I kept moving, it was okay. This one... Yeah, this one can have some nasty synergy with stuff because it takes up most of the screen, and I don't know when the opportunity to actually shoot it. Ow! I don't even know how that got me there. I don't feel like that should have got me. That sort of worked somehow. Yeah, so the things can match up with those ones that are moving around, the shielded enemies that are moving around the screen, and all of a sudden, well, now there's less places that you can go because the shield's likely to smash you in the face with a big spiky wall. There's some nasty combos, there really are. And I feel like that kind of almost holds back the potential of the interesting synergy of the weapons. We've got peanuts. Let's take a look at the peanuts. The peanuts, we have a bit of an allergy, and apparently it makes every alternate shot really big and every other shot really tiny, which is kind of an interesting thing. Again, that synergizes with other stuff, so if you have like split shot or piercing shot, you can... I think on the whole you seem to end up with a bit of a damage boost by doing this, so... I think on the whole this one's a net upgrade in power. So with other stuff like piercing shots and stuff, it's more powerful. There's interesting stuff, but you need to be really good at it and have a lot more patience than maybe I have, I think, to fully appreciate it. I'm finding myself really frustrated because every time I get something interesting, I have a tendency to lose it really, really quickly. So, yeah. I love the concept. I love the concept. I'm not loving the difficulty. This is frustrating as all hell. Oh boy, anyway, this is Dandy, as I say, on green light at the moment. Once it gets through there, it will immediately become available on Steam, available for $9.99, or regional equivalent, I believe is the asking price. So if you think this looks like your kind of thing, well, maybe you should go over there and give it a vote. I'll put a link in the description below. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I've been Meroka, and I will see you next time.